Oh, let me get adjusted. Let me get adjusted. Oh, okay. It looks like we are live. Looks like we live. Let me make sure. Yes, I can hear myself. We are live. We are live. We are live. Good morning and welcome. Oh, let me get it together. Let me fix my screen so I can see what you guys are seeing. Good morning and welcome. I am Yasheka Foster, and you are watching Hood Parenting over on YouTube. And if this is your first time joining me, make sure you say hello and show your girls some love before you leave the door. Like, subscribe, share, or go ahead and send it to someone that you think might want to hear this. We are still in the series of getting to self-actualization. And if you've been following me so far, this is around day 16 of this, and this is a 28-day event, right? This is a 28-day series where I am helping people get to self-actualization. People don't realize that this is something that they need, right? Because when we talk about life and when we talk about the things that we go through in life, okay, everybody is in this. We all start in a phase where we're trying to figure out what we need, what we want, what we desire, right? In order for us to be okay. Some people will say, in order for me to be happy, in order for me to feel complete, whatever the things may be. So when we talk about self-actualization, these are Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? This is the highest one. This is you defining your purpose. This is you saying that I know why I was put here on this earth, right? I understand my mission. I understand what is it I'm to do here, right? That is when you are completely self-actualized and you can really sit now. Here's the thing. Do some people feel that they know what they're here for before they get to that level of being, secure in finances, secure financially, being able to know their rank in this world, feeling purposeful in other ways? Like, do people feel like they're at self-actualization before they get there? Absolutely, absolutely. But what they also realize is that if you follow any of these people who are mega like life coaches or coaches in any sense of the way, right? You can look at them from years ago, and although some of their message may still be aligned of what they were teaching before, you'll see that that person has also elevated, because as they start to just really, really dive into their purpose, there's things that happen to them where they elevate, right? And so they start to clear out things in their lives that they didn't know they need to clear out. Because see, we don't all come all already like picture perfect or anything like that. If you've lived long enough in this life, you already know that life comes with its own set of challenges. And therefore, although you may know what you're supposed to do, there's still things that's clouding you from seeing the bigger picture. And so being self-actualized allows you to be able to not worry about the basics anymore. Now you can live your full potential, your purpose in this life, and you don't have all these things that may be crowding your judgment or not being able or not allowing you to see your purpose is in its entirety, right? All right, so I hope that was clear about what self-actualization really is and how we desire it and how we are promised it, right? We are promised it. We are promised to live in our purpose. Okay, so does that get deeper than me just saying promise? Absolutely. You will have to go read whatever book you feel like you need to read. But for me, I know that I'm here for a purpose, just like everybody else is, right? No one was just put here by accident. You are here for a purpose. So today we are talking about your healing is not up for debate. And again, this is the day lesson 16 of the Getting to Self-Actualization series, right? And so again, this is healing. Your healing is not up for debate, okay? Now, when we talk about our healing, okay, healing is not a consensus. In other words, we don't need the people that broke us to be the same people that says, okay, well, you're all right now, right? It's like the definition of insanity, right? Why would I go to the person who I feel has caused some pain in me, or who I feel has caused something for me to need, where I need to heal from? Why would I go to them and ask them for further? Okay, am I better now? Am I? In other words, I'm not waiting on them to tell me you're okay, right? Because those people that broke you or done something to you, regardless of who they are, okay, regardless of who they are. And let me tell you something. When I say regardless of who they are, even in our own families, even in our childhood, there are people that has effects on our lives, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Some of those effects, some of the things that happen in your life, right? Those things cause harm to you in some type of way, right? Not everything. There were things that maybe was said, things that were done that people probably didn't even realize that you took literal. Okay. Now, when it comes to those things and you feel that you have to get those things off your chest, and what I mean by your healing is not a consensus, you don't go back to that person. If you feel like you need to get things off your chest because of something that happened in childhood or something that happened as you were developing and you feel that that was something that hurt you, and you go and talk to that person, let's say it's a parent or a sibling or an extended family member, and you go and talk to that person and say, hey, I remember when you did this to me and this caused this, right? That person may very well remember it, they may not. That person may very well apologize for it, and they may not. However, what I mean by your healing is not a consensus, you don't need that person to acknowledge your pain. You don't need that person to acknowledge they hurt you for you to be okay. Because they may never will. It's what I'm saying. That person may never see the hurt that they've done. They may never see the impact of whatever they did say or whatever they did, whatever they said, whatever they didn't allow, whatever they allowed, whatever they didn't allow, whatever it was, they may not understand that it affected you, right? And as I get into it, I have a lot of stories for this, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself because I know how my brain thinks. I'll start talking and forget about the lessons here. Okay. And so, like I said, healing is not a consensus. Some of you have been healing in silence just so nobody could gaslight you, right? Because sometimes when we are healing and we go and we talk to the person that hurt us in some kind of way, they'll gaslight us. Okay. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper in this particular segment of gaslighting. Okay. So, gaslighting, let's get there now. Let's talk about gaslighting. This is some of the examples that I know about gaslighting. You ever heard someone to say, well, you ever told someone, say, hey, you hurt me. And then they flip the script on you and look like you're the problem. Okay. That is straight up gaslighting, right? Sometimes they'll say things like to you, like you're too emotional, right? But that way, when they're saying things like that, they're trying to discredit your truth. Okay. If they're telling you you're too emotional about a situation, they are trying to discredit your truth. If they say that never happened or I never said that, they're trying to erase the fact that it happened. Listen, I go through this often with people in my life where I talk about things that happen. And they'll tell me all the time that it didn't happen. And what I have to tell people and remind people is that it's not about me waiting for you to say whether or not it happened. I'm telling you what happened from my perspective. And the best way that I describe this is this. Because again, everyone's not going to see it. This is how I describe a way in which people understand that you don't need their proof because a lot of times they don't even know what they did. Here's how I give an example. Say that a crime happens in the street. Okay. There's a crime that happened in the street and a particular person committed this crime. Okay. Now, there are 10 witnesses that are watching this crime. Okay. They are there from the time that the crime started until the end that the crime wraps up. Although you have 10 people that witnessed that crime, when they go to court or when they appear on stage or in a booth to talk about it, they will all have different stories. Okay. So that's how things happen in your life when you're talking to people and they say, well, I never did that to you, or I don't remember that happening. Right. It's not, they could either be just really don't remember it. They could be gaslighting you, or they could be trying to make you believe that it didn't happen the way you want it to happen. But the way I tell people is my truth is my truth. So if I know that something happened to me and I saw from because remember, I only have my set of lenses. I only have my way in which I see life, right? Through my goggles, through my set of lenses, right? Everyone else sees it differently. So if I know that this happened to me, and I received it this way, and I'm telling the person who may have committed the crime or who may have did the deed, right? And they tell me something that leads to gaslighting, I already know at that moment that I'm not going to get what I need. And so it's okay. Okay. You don't need them to concur with you. You don't need them to say, well, you know what, that happened for you to heal. You are responsible for your own healing journey, no matter what, even if you did not cause it, because you don't, 9 times out of 10, you didn't cause the pain yourself, right? but you're still responsible for healing from those things. Okay. So when we're talking about stuff like this, healing is not for debate. People will gaslight you, and you have to be okay with that. You have to know that they're not going to see things the way you see things, simply because sometimes they're in denial. Sometimes they're trying to alter the truth, or sometimes things happen just the way they said it. Why? Because they're seeing it from their perspective, just like you're seeing it from yours. All right. So protect your healing like it's sacred, because it is. Your healing is sacred. It is not a performance piece. It's not any of that. You don't owe anybody any updates about how you're doing. You don't owe anybody any second chances. In other words, if someone have wronged you in some type of way and you felt like that was detriment, and you choose not to give that person another chance or a second chance, or your relationship is not the same, you don't owe them that. You don't owe them that. I know people who said that if, when they got married, that if this one thing happened, they were out. And when that one thing happened, they were out. They meant what they said, because for them, it was the ultimate betrayal. It was the ultimate hurt, right? And so for them, they had to say, listen, this isn't for me. I'm out, right? And so when it comes to your healing, understand that your healing is sacred. You don't owe anybody how you're doing. You don't owe them a second chance. You don't owe them access to you in any type of way. All right. Not everyone who witnessed your pain deserves the front row seats to your healing. And that is such a true statement. Just because, listen, they can catch you on the fly. They can log on, or they can see you from where far, or they can catch a picture of you, and they see you in passing and see that you're healing. They don't have to have, you don't have to say, nah, 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 look at me. Why? Because your healing journey is your healing journey. And also, when it comes to healing, there is no time limit on it. If something happened, um, something occurred, somebody can't tell you, well, that's been a year, it's time to get over it. No, it's not that, right? Now, what I will say is, I don't believe that you should stay stuck in certain things because it's still trying. Now, anything shy of, now, listen, let me say this as a caveat. We're not talking about unaliving, okay? If anything dealing with that to a person in your life, listen, your healing journey could take the rest of your life, okay? That's different. I'm talking about everyday things that happen, things that occur, because listen, things happen every single day, right? We know things that are happening that are more tragic than others, right? But if, like, say for example, I don't know, someone spoke to you ill will, right? Someone spoke to you in a way where it was just, you know what, that's disrespectful. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna walk away, right? If you choose to hold on to that for a month or two, that's on you, right? But after a while, it's time for you to let it go. Why? Because you're only hurting yourself. The more you hold on to something like that, because it's stopping you from, because you have this anger in you, you're mad. So this person can be somebody close to you and they say something to you. Now you won't even do what you need to do. You can't turn to them. You can't ask them anything. You can't, because you're still having this. So in my mind, when it comes to something like that, yes, it's best to get over it. But when I talk about healing, okay, no matter what it is, especially things that had big impacts on your life, things that had impacts on your life that help shape to who you are, right? Whether it was the way you was raised, things that happened, whatever the case may be, your healing journey is your healing journey, okay? And so your healing is sacred, and you have to keep it protected, not no one else. It's you, right? It's you. Some people need to be blocked, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. This is what I talk about when I say you're protect your healing. Okay. Some people, you got to block them. You have to block them, whether it's on social, whether it's on your phone, whether it's not communicating with them, whatever you need to do in order to heal from the thing that you need to heal from. All right. Again, because why? When it comes to your self-actualization journey, this is part of it. You can't still be like holding on to things, or still trying to heal things, right? Healing and healed is different from trying to heal from things, right? And what I mean by that is this: some journeys are forever, you're healing from them, right? It's not that they affect you in the same way. It's just that you get to certain points in your life where you realize that, hey, this is affecting me now, because sometimes, depending on where you are in life, there are things that will open up other things that you didn't even know that they were still there, right? And it's not something that we do. Like, let me give you an example. My oldest son joined the military, okay? And when he graduated from his training, I went to his graduation course. Well, my father transitioned when I was 20, okay? And that was in 1993, he transitioned. So my father never got a chance to meet any of my children, right? Any of my boys. And so when my son graduated from training, I saw him walking across the field by himself because I had to park somewhere in order to pick him up after he graduated. And when he come across the field, the way he was walking, it was my father that I seen, right? And so in that moment, I had to realize that, oh my God, this affects me because my father can't see his oldest grandson join the army just like he did, just like I did. Right? He can't see his oldest grandson, down this uniform like he did, his father did, and I did. Right? My son is the fourth generation of military. My grandfather, my father, myself, and me. I mean, and my son. Right? Because I'm my father's only child. So my oldest son, right? He makes the fourth generation of soldiers. And so in that moment, I didn't realize that that was something that affected me. It's not that I'm not healed from certain things. It's just that now here I was encountering a different situation in my life that was totally foreign to me. Right. I never had a kid that been in the military before, a boy. So I never had to relate to this time. Now, was it like that when I joined the military? I'm sure. I'm sure there was things in my life that I did while I was in that I wish my father was there to witness, and unfortunately he wasn't because he transitioned. However, now I was looking at it from, wow, I wish my father could see it. So when it talks about those things, that really pulled on my heartstrings, right? And so, although I can say I'm not in that phase where, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, why did I have to be without a parent, or why did this happen? It was more of, I'm okay, right? Because I feel him everywhere. But it was just in that moment. It was new to me. It was foreign. And so, although I'm not like you know, you know how it is when something is fresh. It's not like that, but I still felt the absence of him, right? I still felt the absence of sharing a moment with him, right? And so I won't, so people can look at that and say, well, why is it? Because that's something new to me. It has nothing to do with my healing journey from my father, or the healing journey of, me losing my father at such a young age. It literally was a new idea for me. It was a new situation for me, right? It was a new circumstance that I wasn't familiar with. And then we get to boundaries are a love language. When it comes to your healing journey, your boundaries are a love language. So you have to protect your boundaries, right? You have to protect your boundaries. Your boundaries are protection, boundaries are clarity, and boundaries are a love letter to your future self. That's what your boundaries are. A love letter to your future self. You are saying that I need to protect my now so that I can be okay later. Because if I keep on like dealing with this, or letting people gaslight me, or not healing from things that happen to me, then I'm not protecting my future self, because my future self needs to be the best, right? I want to be, for me, I always want to be better today than I was yesterday. And all, listen, and I'm not saying I'm going to go out here and do a lot of things, right? One thing can make a difference between you being better today than you was yesterday. Okay. And so when it comes to boundaries as I love language, boundaries are a love letter to your future self. You're not mean for wanting peace. You're not fake for changing your assets list. And you just finally prioritizing your wholeness. That's all it is. That's all it is when it comes to your healing. Is not up for debate. Okay. So when it comes to healing, listen, you got to stand 10 toes down with this. All right. When it comes to your healing journey, you have to be the one that enforce everything. You don't need a co-signer. You don't need any of that, right? And so I want to guys with something that I want you to say to yourself. Because when it comes to boundaries, when it comes to healing, again, we are responsible for it. It is a love letter to our future self. So even if you have to put this on a mirror, put it on your phone, whatever, but I need you to say these three things with me. My healing is mine. My peace is sacred, and I am not shrinking to make anybody comfortable again. That's what you say to yourself. Let me repeat that. My healing is mine. My peace is sacred, and I am not shrinking to make anyone comfortable again. Doesn't that feel good? And just say it, because you will be amazed of when you say things to yourself and you empower yourself, right? Because you have to say beautiful things to yourself. Okay. Never talk to yourself, and this is off script. Never talk to yourself in a negative way. Say beautiful things to yourself. So if this is something you need to say to yourself, my healing is mine. And say it with conviction. My peace is sacred because it is. And I am not shrinking to make anyone comfortable again. You say those things to yourself every day, every hour on hour, even if you have to set an alarm in your clock on your phone to doggone remind yourself to say it. You say those things to yourself, right? And you mean them. Okay. So listen, as we wrap up day 16 of this 28-day journey of getting to self-actualization, listen, I freaking love this. When I tell you I love this because people don't realize that as they're going through certain section phases in lives, like I said in the beginning of this, although we have these things that we are trying to get to, right? We don't realize that up under those categories, there are subcategories. And so when we talk about self-actualization or going through the 5 areas of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, although there's 5 major areas, within those areas, there are sub areas, there are subcategories, there are even subcategories to the subcategories, right? And so healing and things like that, listen, forgiveness, boundaries, all those things that we've talked about during this getting to self-actualization phase series is part of it in order to get there. So again, I thank you guys for joining me. And if this is your first time here, like I said at the beginning, let me know that you've passed by. Okay. Let me know that you've been in here and you said, hey girl, hey, say something to me. But show your girl some love by liking, sharing, or subscribing, leaving a comment below. And if you are ready to actually lean into self-actualization or looking for a coach, go ahead and look. There's an appointment schedule up here. It's somewhere up in this description box or down below. I don't know where it is in this video. You can go ahead and click on that and set a 15-minute consultation. All right. Totally free, no commitment, just 15 minutes to see if I'm someone that you want to work with as a life strategist or a self-actualization coach. And trust me when I tell you, once you meet me, you're going to want to work with me, okay? Because you're going to realize that, you know what? I know I needed this energy in my life, okay? I woke up this morning and I did not know I needed to talk to her, okay? Because she's just listen, someone told me I was the salt of the earth. Okay. Someone told me I was the salt of the earth. And so I received that with everything in me, that I am the salt of the earth. Okay. So anyway, go out and have an amazing day. And listen, again, comment below, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. And if you want to work with me, go ahead and DM me or set yourself an appointment. Because like I said, when you do, you're going to want to work with me. And I'll catch you guys. And then catch me here tomorrow at 9 o'clock as we continue on with getting to self-actualization series here on YouTube. Bye for now.